Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today I'm going to be looking at the second deck in the Bicycle City Skylines series. This is Chicago from Collectable Playing Cards. This deck was released on Kickstarter, and like I said, is the second in the series of City Skylines decks. The first deck, New York, was more of green colors compared to the blue that we're looking at here. You can find that review on my channel if you want to see that one. And then upcoming, we'll be looking at the third deck, the Los Angeles deck. But let's focus on the Windy City in Chicago, Illinois. All right, starting with the tuck case, it's a glossy finish tuck case done in all different shades of blue, and it's fully embossed and foiled throughout with silver foil. You have the classic bicycle banner across the top, and it says City Skylines Chicago playing cards in embossed silver foil at the bottom. And then you have, of course, the image of the city skyline, including four of the more iconic features of the skyline featured in the foreground here. Going left to right, you've got the Tribune Tower, the Trump Tower, the Willis Tower, which was one time the tallest building in the US. And this one over here is the Hancock Center. It's actually not called the Hancock Center anymore. I don't think it actually has a name, but used to be called the Hancock Center. So all done in really cool blues, and everything is lined in this silver foil, giving it really nice accents. I love the kind of Art Deco feel of the entire front of the tuck case, very similar to the New York deck. And you have a little border with sort of these twisting ribbons going all the way around. So a really cool front to the tuck case. On the sides, you've got air cushion finish with tons of ornamentation going around it. Chicago on the other side, some ad copy for the USPCC, who of course printed this bicycle deck, and collectible playing cards. And then on the top, it just says Chicago in silver foil. The back's going to be a foiled and embossed version of the back of the cards. We'll look at some of the details of that in a second, but love getting to see that extra little bit of foil accenting it and the feel of the embossing. You do get a custom postage stamp style seal. It's a shiny silver with blue ink. Features kind of a generic city skyline there, and you can see it is a numbered edition of 1,000 decks. Opening up, a little bit more ad copy for bicycle on the interior flap here, and nothing else printed on the inside of the tuck. So that's it. That is another great looking tuck, very in fitting with the, in keeping with the series. You had the green with New York, and now the blue with Chicago. So a really nice tuck case. Big fan of what they did with that one. But let's look at the cards next. And we'll start, as we usually do, with the back design. So here it is. Got a little bit of a preview of it on the back of the tuck case, but you can see here it's covered with just sort of symbols of Chicago. The main feature here is going to be this pair of cathedrals and kind of a two-way back design. This is, I believe, the Holy Word Cathedral. It's a Catholic church. It's actually the seat of the Archdiocese of Chicago, and is the second oldest church in Chicago. So you can see kind of the spires reaching out of that of the Holy Word Church. Across the top is the Chicago banner, and then you have a few more kind of Chicago bits on here, including 1837, which is the year that it was incorporated as a city, and a representation, kind of a furled up Chicago flag here. The Chicago flag is one of the most famous municipal flags in the world. It has kind of blue bars against the white flag, and then a series of 4 6-pointed stars. The original Chicago flag actually only had 2 stars, commemorating a couple of different significant events in Chicago's history, in the Great Chicago Fire of 1871 and the World's Columbian Exposition in 1893. But later on, they added, the city decided to add additional stars to commemorate significant events or locations, including Fort Dearborn that was built on the area, and the Century of Progress Exposition that was held in 1933. And so the flags had 4 stars ever since 1939. And they've kind of proposed a few times adding a 5th star, looking at different events and things like that, as being kind of worthy of that 5th star. So fun facts about the Chicago flag. But all the way around, this is one of the things I love about it. I love the different series of textures that they've got kind of forming the background. You've got these sort of waves here, maybe a nod to Lake Michigan, and then you've got this sort of diamond pattern, stripes, and then the outer border is finished with these little gusts of air, a nod to Chicago's nickname as the Windy City. And it finishes out with a medium white poker border and a really kind of classy, elegant feel to the back design of the card. So big fan of that. Extra cards that you do get a pair of jokers. The jokers feature fairly standard, nothing too Chicago about this one, but you have the jester prancing with a scepter in one hand and the 4 suits in the other. Just kind of a different swapped out colorway. One's wearing a white and blue striped and then striped top, and then this one's got 2 shades of blue, so a little bit of a darker feel to it. Has 1 joker at the top and features those 6-pointed stars that we saw on the Chicago flag in the 4 corners. So interesting jokers. I wish it had been a little bit more Chicago. I don't know what, joker eating a pizza or something like that, but nice jokers nonetheless. You do get 1 gaff card with a double backer and a collectible playing cards ad card. Pretty much a standard card you'll see in a lot of collectible playing cards decks right here. Now jumping into the rest of the deck, and we'll start with the Ace of Spades. Another iconic Chicago landmark makes an appearance. This is the Buckingham Fountain you can see in Grant Park. Features a large spade pip in the background, almost looks like a setting sun across it. Buckingham Fountain is famous in part for the really elaborate water shows that they do at dusk. So you can imagine, maybe this is the setting sun and the fountain just starting up its show after dusk, where that fountain in the center will shoot up to over 100 feet high. So really cool representation of the fountain there. It says Chicago underneath, and then you have a slightly custom font for the index in the corner, and a little bit of a squattier, fatter spade pip as well. Going to the number cards, you get slight customization on the pips, but nothing too amazingly out of the ordinary there. Slightly different font on there, but otherwise fairly standard numbers all the way through. Pretty standard layout to the pips as well. And then you get to the quartz. And the quartz are beautifully recolored in these sort of shades of blue, just lots of different shades of blue. Otherwise, fairly classic quartz, just recolored. And of course, added that ornate border around the edge, kind of keeping with that Art Deco feel you get with a lot of the deck. It says Chicago in the 2 corners. I will say for me, the quartz are a little bit kind of all blue, if you will. It's especially you hold us at a distance, the colors kind of blend together a little bit. I wish they'd kind of given it a little bit more contrast in the colors, but I still think they're pretty well done, recolored and redesigned quart. Going to the diamonds, so now we've gone back to a classic red. You do get a larger diamond pip with some slight customization on the ace of diamonds. So all the aces are going to feature those larger pips. And then otherwise pretty standard number cards, just like before. Court cards are more of the same, just what we saw with the spades. And then into the clubs. There's that pretty classic poses on those. Down through the clubs. Interesting little custom club pip there. There's your larger ace of clubs. And then of course the hearts. And flipping through the numbers and finishing as always with the ace of hearts. So that is the deck. As far as handling, bicycle deck, you know how they're going to handle. They handle beautifully. Fans work well, cuts, everything, nothing bad to speak of with this whatsoever. Definitely a great art and collector's deck, I would say, but also one that you could use for gameplay, cardistry, magic, anything like that. So big fan of what they did on this deck. Really loving the series so far and excited to take a look at the 3rd deck in the Los Angeles. So hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what other decks you want to see. Subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings, and I'll see you for the next one.